For more than 4 centuries, Roanoke Island has remained a wound in the map of American history, a place defined not by what was found there, but by what was not: an empty settlement, a single carved word, and the unbroken silence that followed. In the last few decades, investigators have returned to the island with a new determination. They come not with muskets or lanterns, but with satellites, radar, and DNA kits. Their goal is the same as John White's when he stepped onto that deserted shore: to bring the colonists home, if only in name. The modern story begins in the early 1990s, when archaeologists from several universities started digging along the northern edge of Roanoke. They hoped to locate any sign of a later English presence. New wells, fresh foundations, tools made after 1587. What they found instead were layers of soil showing the island had eroded far more than anyone realized. Much of the original colony site may now lie underwater. If so, any graves, records, or relics would have been claimed by the sea long ago. But hope did not sink with the shoreline. In 2012, researchers at the British Museum re-examined John White's original map of Virginia and the Carolinas. Under ultraviolet light, they noticed something extraordinary: a small 4-pointed shape hidden beneath a patch of paper near the mouth of the Chowan River, about 50 miles inland. It looked like the symbol for a fort. White himself might have drawn it, then concealed it before presenting the map to his sponsors. To modern scholars, that hidden mark was more than ink. It was a new lead. Excavations at that inland location, known today as Site X, uncovered European artifact consistent with the late 16th century: a slate writing tablet, fragments of copper, and pieces of ceramics that matched English designs. None proved definitively that the Roanoke settlers had lived there, but together they suggested a pattern. People on the move, dividing into smaller groups, adapting to survive. Farther south on Hatteras Island, another team led by the nonprofit First Colony Foundation began a different search. They found a trove of objects that told a quieter story: a gun lock, a chunk of green-glazed pottery, a fragment of a sword handle. Nearby, local tribes spoke of ancestors who had light hair and gray eyes. Oral traditions described an earlier mingling of two peoples. To many historians, that was the most human explanation of all: that the colonists were not a race but absorbed, their names and language fading over generations until only their blood remained. Yet even this theory leaves gaps. If some settlers integrated with the Croton, where did the rest go? Why was no written message left beyond a single carved word? Why did no later explorer ever meet a survivor who spoke of Roanoke? The closer investigators come, the more the mystery resists resolution. In recent years, advanced soil testing has added another layer of intrigue. Traces of lead, copper, and other materials used in 16th century English tools have been found in small pockets inland, far from the coast. Some scientists believe these chemical signatures may mark short-term camps, temporary shelters built by survivors traveling toward the mainland. If that is true, the colonists might have moved in stages, hoping to reach safer ground but never finding it. The mystery, however, is not just about migration or death. It is about the human need for closure. Archaeologists describe Roanoke as a ghost they can almost touch, one that keeps slipping away just as the evidence grows solid. Each dig answers one question and creates 3 more. Why did John White hide a fort symbol on his map? Why were some artifacts deliberately buried deep beyond the reach of weather? And why do local oral histories mention a storm that came without rain, a sound in the air like distant thunder that never ended? Legends, perhaps, but legends often grow from a kernel of truth. In 2020, a new generation of researchers began testing DNA from possible descendants of mixed European and Native ancestry in the Carolinas. Their work is delicate and slow, requiring permission from local families and tribal historians. Early results show a faint genetic link to the British Isles, but not strong enough to confirm identity. Science, like the sea, offers hints but no absolutes. Standing on Roanoke Island today, it is hard to imagine the fear those settlers must have felt. The thick pines press close around the clearing where their homes once stood. The air smells of salt and decay. The ocean is never silent. It whispers, hisses, breathes. Visitors say that if you stay until dusk, the island feels alive, as if still waiting for someone to return. One archaeologist described it best: He said, "The hardest part of this work isn't what we find. It's the moment we have to stop digging, knowing they're still out there somewhere, just beyond the edge of proof." In the end, the story of Roanoke may never yield a single truth. Perhaps some settlers perished in storms. Perhaps others lived out quiet lives among the Croton, their children growing up speaking new words under new names. Or perhaps the colony's disappearance became part of the landscape itself, swallowed by wind, water, and time until history could no longer separate one from the other. Still, the carved word remains. Croton. It has been copied onto textbooks, monuments, and museum plaques, a single echo carved into America's earliest memory. For some, it is simply geography. For others, it is a message, proof that even at the edge of extinction, they want to be remembered. Today, as drones scan the island and sonar maps the seabed, the search continues. The next discovery may lie one shovel's depth away, or it may already have been lost centuries ago. Either way, Roanoke's mystery endures because it speaks to something universal. The fear of being forgotten and the hope that someone, someday, will still be looking. History is filled with disappearances. Armies vanish, ships sink, towns crumble to dust. But few mysteries have endured like this one. The Lost Colony of Roanoke was more than the first English settlement in America. It was the first to remind us how fragile every beginning can be. Perhaps the truth is not buried in the ground, but carried in the question that still haunts every investigator who stands on that shore. What really happened to the Lost Colony? And if they could speak now, what would they tell us?